one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to this August 7th Board of Commissioners meeting. First item is public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment? Mr. Vostri. Yep. Yes, please.
Thanks, gentlemen, for letting me attend your meeting today. I'm here to discuss the upkeep and maintenance of the solar farm area. I sent Mr. Weaver some pictures this morning of what I look out my back window. I have a substation with rolls of brown rolls that block the sound because
Straw, probably.
yeah. I talked to Lucas Williams, who was in charge at that time, first week of May. He said it would be probably 4 to 6 weeks before they have a black panel, which I'm the one that has to look at it, a 15-foot black panel that's going to bounce the sound back into the field behind me. There's a solar panel that's laying on the ground that has fallen off for about a week, and no one seems to care about that at all. The chain link fence that surrounds all this, they started that project and lasted about a day. They came down in front of back of my house with a weed eater, and the guy spent about 6 hours, and then he gave up. And the next day they decided, well, let's try a tractor. That lasted a day. There's about 4-foot tall weeds along this whole chain link fence that everyone has to look at, not just me. I know I'm the only one here. I have neighbors asking me, hey, Todd, who do I call to get these bushes cut around? Because they're 4 feet high, and there's 4 feet high weeds around them. It's just deplorable that the proposed plan on our first meeting that was held at the library, this place is supposed to look beautiful and all upkeep and all this fun stuff. Well, I think we got handed a bill of goods. I just want to know, as a county, what are you gentlemen going to do to get this maintained? And they have a 6-man crew right now trying to cut all these acres of grass. There's no flowers. I've seen them plant the flowers. How can you plant seeds and not water it?
I'm assuming they were expecting the rain to water it.
God is,
That's-
yes, well, God
I
is
do
only
that
going to
too.
do so much, and then man has to take over, right? So,
So I'll have Liz, because the area plan is the one that enforces
Yep.
the ordinance, so I'll let her speak on some of these
it's
issues
just,
that
it's
you
just
brought up.
deplorable that we have to look at this. You drive down the road and the farmers can't even, they're not doing anything right now, right? Their crops are in. There's 4-foot high weeds going down the road. Why? I'm
That's all
asking the
over.
questions.
Yeah.
And here's what I get.
Well, I mean,
don't
the
know.
simple answer is they're
I
not
don't know.
mowing it.
Simply, I don't know. That's what I get. Am I right, Mr. Weaver?
You are.
I stay in contact with him because he's been my go-to guy since all this started,
Yep.
okay? How would you like, when all that crew was there, having 8:30 in the morning, having someone knock on your door and say, here's a bag of McDonald's? And it was for
I
one of
would've
the
been
workers
gone by
across the
8:30.
street. It was one of the workers across the street. I look out my kitchen window and I see an outhouse. That's what I get to look at.
Okay.
Would you guys like to live like this? I'm asking a question, and here, again, I get this.
We've had many conversations
Yes,
about
we
this.
have one conversation about this,
we're-
sir.
Two.
Two, this is the second
Okay,
one.
No, two on the phone. I don't think we need to go down this path again, but
Well-
let's have Liz, we'll answer your questions in terms of getting the enforcement of some of the issues that you're talking about.
It's terrible.
Okay, that's your opinion. We'll let Liz answer.
So it is, I would agree, at the moment, terrible. I'm not going to misargue that. In the transition between the utility and Invenergy, I think you guys are aware as well, as I copied you on some contacts, there seems to be, both on roads and grass at the moment, some confusion between the two companies on who's doing what and where and when. Something I had recommended, or at least brought up as an idea, and I don't know that we discussed it in any great depth, but it might warrant discussion, is I can certainly send letters and I can tag and I can take to court. It takes time. We all know grass grows faster than courts and judges work. But we could modify the tall grass ordinance to allow the commissioners to forcibly mow and place tax liens. Granted, you're going to place the tax liens against the landowners, but presumably that's going to then pass through in conversations between landowners and leasees, and might motivate more proactive, action. Once done, it takes a little bit of time to get an ordinance modified. Obviously, we don't have to rewrite it. We just need to add. Right now, there's a complete exclusion on tagging anything that it would be considered agricultural ground, which, that is. But we could add a clause that allows us to look at renewable energy installations as having to be maintained. We would have to put something in it to make sure we're not mowing pollinator-friendly areas. But where he's talking about outside the fence and in the fence itself, those aren't pollinator-friendly plantings. That's supposed to be mowed and maintained. So yeah, we can definitely tag it, but it's not going to be, by the time we get into court and in front of a judge, it'll be winter, by which time everyone's going to go, well, it's not a problem now. So, whether we're able to get that done fast enough for the remainder of this year, whether we give ourselves solid teeth. I mean, I think we all know the mowing ordinance works, whether people support it or don't, it works pretty efficiently. We are able to tag, and then within 10 days, if it's not taken care of, we have the authorization to send a mower, pay them, and then leverage that plus administrative costs back as a tax lien that, if not paid, Tom's able to pay and replace, and then at that point, the landowner can't evade it because they're going to lose their property through tax sale if it's not paid. So you don't have to go through that lengthy court process. Now, if the county's opinion was that they wanted to attempt to remove the whole thing, then court, but I don't think that's a viable, with where we're at, I think we'd lose in court if we attempted something to that extreme. So I think modifying the mowing ordinance is going to have more teeth than letters and taking them to court only over grass, especially since you can mow grass in an area, and as, as landowners have pointed out, sometimes you get it mowed, but then, for 3 or 4 weeks later, it's back to the same condition again, so it's cyclical.
Yeah.
But the thing was with zoning, if it gets done, then it complies, so then you get into that challenge there, whereas with the tall grass ordinance, complaints can be filed repetitively, and after we post on them twice, the third time and on, the county's just allowed to go mow and file the liens. We don't have to keep posting. So it would allow us to deal with the cyclical nature, but it would require, that's a commissioner ordinance, so it would require some willingness to at least examine the modification of what we look at for requiring mowing on.
Okay. You had something, Commissioner Weaver?
Liz, so you know, I reached out to their senior management last week after you sent an email.
Yeah,
I followed up.
I
with
figured out the contact, yeah.
And I spoke to both of those gentlemen at length on Friday. We are trying to set up a date and time this next week in which we can address and personally show them where and what's going on. So they have agreed to a Monday at this point, and I just got the text just a few seconds ago.
Can I join you guys if possible? Just
course.
because I'm getting complaints as well, not just for Mr. Vostre. So I've got a list of landowners I'm trying to help. So
Yep.
if there's ones that have talked to me but not you, I want to make sure we look at all areas.
I'm in the process of trying to get that arranged, so
Okay.
at this point, when we get all the parties together, and of course, we'll have Rick there too because of the roads.
roads,
So, anyway, at this point, I think it's a matter of communication and saying, here's what we expect. So, I would hope that we don't have to turn to the legal side. I think we need to sit there and say, this is it, this is it, this is it. And it's going to be impossible to defend it. So either they fix it, we'll know, either they're going to fix it or they're not. So,
Although I would note if we made a change in the ordinance and even on a broader sense that required zoning buffer yards have to be kept mowed, which the ordinance also says on the zoning side, and they take care of it, well, then there's no issue. But it takes a few months to get an ordinance changed,
yeah,
so.
we'll,
So are you open to at least having an amended ordinance draft set up for us to review for this? Because what it's going to create is more flexibility, because right now the
Yes.
process, we just don't have the ability to say, hey, do this. If you
Instantly
purge,
and-
it goes through this whole process. So if we can amend the ordinance, it will create more flexibility so things can be done quicker.
More tools.
I even reached out to Mark Enda and Ryan Buchanan, made a phone call, I got nothing back.
Yeah.
This is sick. This is not,
Well, but-
as a taxpayer, how much, how much crap do we have to go through before things get fixed?
Yeah.
Right?
I think, Jordan, to answer your
I mean, I've been
question,
doing
yes.
this for 2.5
Hold on.
years.
Yep, we understand.
And
We've
it's
heard it.
just
I understand.
bad.
All right.
Again, I think it would be wise to do that, whether we get them to correct it or not. I think putting the ordinance in place would give us the hammer that we may need as time comes on, so I would not be opposed to that at all.
We've started teaming up on certain, cases where fires occur and other things between the zoning arm and your ordinances when one tool isn't working to bring in, the other. So I think this might be another area. If you were amenable to it, I would work with Tom, not just to draft it specifically at the solar, but maybe broaden it to all buffer yards, because I can think of a few other places in the county where we've had this problem with maintenance, where it's been like a cyclical fight on the zoning side, and it's hard to get traction because of the length of time it takes to get in
Yeah.
court, and grass can be mowed so quickly. And so it may be something that just, those just aren't as many neighbors, so you're not hearing about it to the same extent. But, maybe something to just think about more broadly, that where
let's do that.
another ordinance in the county requires mowing something, that maybe we put it in, that you guys can have teeth
Yeah.
to force the issue.
Work with Tom and get a draft going on that and allow us to at least have a little more flexibility to take care of these issues. So,
Okay, I will work with Tom to do that.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we have our surveyor, Mr. Sheets, here for a drainage project loan.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Afraid we don't have an exhibit for you to look at, but Tom will get that to you.
She's got it.
Okay, she has it now. Very good. What this resolution will do, it allow the Drainage Board to borrow $407,000 for the Latchaw-Lyman Guth Drainage Project. We're requesting that you allow Mr. Ewitz to sign this. We did the same thing last year. It's simply a resolution allowing us to move forward with the loan for the project.
So I'm supportive of it. We've
Yeah,
dealt with this in
agreed.
Drainage
Yeah,
Board.
it's-
So you want the president of the Drainage Board to sign it?
Yes.
Okay, all right, we'll make that change. It has me on there, has commissioners on
Is
there,
the commissioner
so.
that signed it, or?
I think the commissioners sign it because
Okay,
it's an
well, authorize Mr. Ewis to sign on behalf of the Drainage Board then.
or it's under you, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
under
should
me.
be.
Okay,
So we can actually just have Jordan sign it.
Yeah,
okay, very good.
okay. All right, so I'll entertain a
I
motion.
make the motion that you sign the affidavit for the loan commitment.
All right,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Motion carries 2-0. Next, we have Renee Crick for hiring.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Renee.
I wanted to go ahead and come before you today. We will probably be ready to hire our next, we would like to hire two at our next, probably within the next month, we will advertise. I just wanted to go ahead and come before you. We have one that's about to be released from training. So, and we have one from our last process that will be ready to go, and then we're going to open up another process. We would like to hire two at the same time. That way we can do the classroom stuff together. And so the one that's from our last process will get us to our 16, which is our full staff. And then the next one starts our 17, because we still have to get up to 20.
Okay.
So, nothing new with anything, all the same
Job description.
job description and
yeah,
everything
okay.
like that. But I wanted to go ahead and come before you. That way, when we're ready here, probably pretty quickly, then I'll get it to Jerry to advertise it as well. But I wanted to go ahead today and get your permission ahead of it so that we didn't have to wait for another meeting just in case, so.
Yep. Okay.
I make the motion that Renee be given the okay to go forward with the two hires at this point in time.
Thank you.
Motion carries 2-0.
Okay.
And these were all approved ahead of time? and
Yes,
followed the
yes,
whole
that's
process?
all,
I'm just
yes.
putting it out there.
No,
that-
no, everything, yep.
So, okay,
Okay, I'll give you an update in department head.
okay, sounds
Thanks,
good.
Renee.
All right, next, we're past our 9:15, so I will turn it over to County Attorney Tom Little, who will do the opening of the new voting panel bids.
All right, I think we just got one.
One bid.
Cashier's check, non-inclusion affidavit. All right, so yeah, this is gonna be from Microvote Journal Corporation for $182,000 for 65 units, looks like.
Okay, all right. Clerk's here. Morning.
Good morning. I'm Stephanie Harshbarger, the Clinton County Clerk. Seeing that we only got one bid in, I'd like to ask for approval today to use Microvote.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. We have one bid, and it's our vendor that we have worked with in the past, so good, strong relationship, and the funding's all taken care of through council, so.
So you're good with it then, as it is?
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we go forward with the bid that we've been presented with.
Motion carries 2-0, and I will sign the contract here for you, or, well,
Thank
it's
you.
not really a
Thank you, Tom,
contract,
for
but
your
the
help.
agreement to accept it.
Sherry, nice job, a lot of work.
All right, next, I don't see Rodney, but, oh, I do see Rodney. Sorry, I saw Dana too. Rodney, one for a TB nurse work hours.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Wanted to come in and ask you, we now have the new position, TB nurse. She's been through her 6 months. She's completed her state training, state certification for her main job duties. Sat with her and looked at what we're looking at currently with latent TB cases that she's managing, and wanted to see if I could put her hours at 35. She's a non-salaried individual, so thus I'd want your permission, because I'm going to have to go to council and actually add a little bit of money to cover that, but
So
she's not.
from 32 to 35?
Yes, sir.
Okay, though, I guess when I saw this and I hadn't talked to you, my only thought was we have these councils going through the whole salary thing for 25, so it felt like, we're already at August. Could this possibly just wait till the 25 budget year so that we take care of it all at one time rather than making the change, what I would call mid-year, or a little past mid-year at this point?
I'm not going to have an objection. I know at this point she's going to have to do a lot of juggling of hours to keep under the 32, because like I say, she's an hourly individual.
Yeah.
So I'll have to pay the additional. I just don't have it in the budget
Okay.
without your permission in the council.
How
So
many TV cases do we have?
Let's, go ahead.
TB cases active, we don't have any active, but she has 11 new latent TB cases just in the last month and a half. We have an increase in immigration. One of the requirements is TB blood tests, and we perform those there at the Clinton County Health Department. Once they're identified, we have to start them on the regimen, so there's a lot of work. So she's having to leave on Fridays, which that's not her half day, to offset all the time she's doing on some of the weekends and after hours. So that's why we were kind of pushing it to be her, but I respect whatever.
Yes, I think that's probably our best. Let's just see how it goes here, and we'll keep track of the time over the next few months, and then we can work
See
with
what we've
council
got.
going into 25 to adjust these up.
So-
Maybe it needs to be 40 instead of 35, right? Like if the workload's there. So if that's all right, let's.
sure, no, we want to work, as Dana says, within your
Okay.
parameters as well.
All right.
Let's see how it works out.
We'll monitor that.
Okay.
So, also unexpectedly, while I'm up here,
Yeah.
government efficiency would ask permission to look to refill a food inspector position that we have vacant at the time.
Okay. It's vacant. I would go ahead.
Go ahead, yes.
Well, I
I'm just
mean,
thinking
if
at
it's a
this
vacant
point,
position, I'm okay
Yeah,
filling it.
it's-
So
There's no
yep.
change in
No
the
changes
job.
to job description,
Sure.
so it follows
Yeah,
the for second step of the process. So
I'm
yeah.
good with that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Rick, you're up with a highway update.
Morning.
Good morning.
800 West and State Road 28 roundabout's done. We got a pre-final meeting, I think, next week, on a Wednesday, I believe, at 11 o'clock.
Like done? Everything's done?
There's some little
Clean up
small
things?
stuff.
Okay,
maybe.
okay,
That's what the pre-final's for.
okay.
Anyway, the county highway department put in a aluminum box culvert on 830 east, in between 100 north and 200 north, and that's in, and it's open now. Waiting on the bridge inspector to go look at it, and so we can pull our narrow bridge signs and pull our weight limit signs.
Perfect.
Milestone got started paving on the solar farm roads. They've disappeared, but I'm sure they'll be back. They did some pledging and stuff, and I'm sure they'll be back to do more.
Might follow up and see how quickly they're gonna be back.
I will. I was expecting somebody to call me this week, but nobody's called, so I'll call them. We're in the process right now doing a traffic count on 100 North, the Clinton Central Road, because of all the heavy truck traffic. I just got done talking to the sheriff before the meeting started. I'm gonna put up some no through truck signs at each end, and they're gonna go out there and write some tickets.
And so this is related to changes in Tipton County about how truck traffic utilizes 28 and not going through the town of Tipton, and they've since
didn't-
decided to take our County Road 100 north all the way through to 29 rather than following the suggested truck route that Tipton County has
And
posted.
I
So
did-
that's what this is related to.
I did drive up there. I did drive across 31 into Tipton County, and there is a sign that says 28 East on that division road. And I kept on driving, and they've got no trucks, no through trucks on their county roads that come off of that. And they've also got a back way into that factory, so I think a lot of those trucks are going that way, going into that factory that back way. And it's also, before you cross 31, there's that seed corn
Campbell's.
factory, Campbell Seed. Now it's Toll Seed now, but I just wonder if some of those trucks are going there. So anyway, we're going to try to get rid of some of that truck traffic.
Perfect.
We're also doing the traffic count for Zero in Kilmore, 0 and 425, so we can put up a four-way stop there at that intersection. I talked with Jackson Farms, and they're prepared to help us pay for some of the paving on that 700 South there in front of the farm. They offered $10,000 to $15,000, and I'm gonna see if I can't get them to pay the $15,000. I'll get an email, says,
Yeah, and we'll want to make sure, because I know we had talked about it more in Drainage Board, because I believe that's where it came up. There was
Yeah.
some
yeah, I got the minutes.
drainage issues with how they created the entrance to their farm and the road, so we just want to make sure that all that, I mean, they committed to taking care of all that, so.
So anyway, I'm planning on going out there Monday and start paving. We've been digging some spots out and doing some patching, and I'm planning on going out there paving Monday if I can get their confirmation from
Okay.
them.
Yep.
We got 3 of our new trucks now. We're still waiting on 3 more, so that's where we're at.
Okay. Any questions?
Good. No, Rick, thank you.
Thanks, Rick. All right, Liz, back up with a area plan update.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Just 2 things. I don't have a ton this morning. One is, if you recall, I think the last meeting, or the one before that, but we had discussed a house on 26 that was in real bad shape and clearly collapsing significantly. And We did, as instructed, post the notice of condemnation, giving them a final 10 days. So you're at a point where you could choose to call for bids if you so desired. The other thing that's happened, I think Kat had sent an email, so you guys had the information in advance. But there's a neighbor, Louis Fleur, who is building a house, on an adjacent lot, and he would like to attempt to acquire this property through tax sale and prefer to tear down the house rather than having a higher minimum bid on it. We have confirmed it is supposed to go through tax sale this fall. Now, it takes a year to actually get possession of a property after tax sale. But he submitted a letter, basically stating, I think Kat sent you a copy of that, but basically it states that he hopes to acquire this and tear it down at his own expense, which would be significantly less cost, and is asking if the commissioners would be willing to hold off on actually tearing down the structure. So obviously that depends on him winning a bid in this fall tax sale. So I think there's two questions sort of that may or may not be related on the table. One is whether or not you want to go ahead and call for bids, and kind of related to that is whether or not you want to give it a couple months. I think it seems like tax sales usually in September or October. Do you guys know?
I believe Kat's email said September 18th.
September,
Right.
yep. So if you wanted to wait roughly 4 or 5 weeks and see whether or not he's the winning bidder, and then decide from there if you want to move ahead or give it a minute, it's, entirely your discretion in terms of,
Well, I think-
what you think the best process is.
I think that's our best option.
Yeah,
Let's see
because
what
it's-
happens at the tax
Agreed.
sale, and if we have a buyer that is willing to
Has an intent to
take
buy.
on the property and not
Yeah.
have an expense to
sense.
taxpayers to take it down, that seems like a win-win, so.
And we're not, we have a complaint on this, but we're not getting constant phone calls from every nearby neighbor. Mr. Fleur is actually the most affected, so, okay. I will just make a note to bring this back up after the tax sale and let you know, A, if it was purchased,
what
and B, if Mr. Fleur purchased it or not, and then go from there. So, and then the second item, and I guess I lied, I guess I have 3 things. The second and third item are just updates, they don't require decisions, but just so you're aware. One is our situation up in Forest with the unsafe structure, the house. We did post on grass again there, so just so you know, if you receive any calls, we have posted for tall grass on Mr. Moore, and if that's not mowed, we'll send the mower out there to take care of that. And then
Isn't his date of completion here?
It is September. It is.
September 20th meeting, does that sound right? Our meeting is
It's
September.
something like that. It seems like it's mid-September. I couldn't quote the exact date off the top of my head.
17th
Okay,
is
perfect.
our meeting, so.
Yep, I know we kind of set it, so it would line up with a meeting, so.
Okay.
And then the other item, which I think corresponded a little bit with Jordan and Tom on, but so you guys know, I think we're real close to having a dedication paperwork pulled together. We looked over that. I've got just a couple minor edits. I'm going to get it back to you today. Jay looked at it, and so anyway, but I think we're close on having dedication paperwork for Turtle Hill. All repairs the commissioners requested have been made to Rick's satisfaction. So hopefully either your next meeting or the meeting after will arrange to have the developers here to be able to present that and have you guys, formally accept and sign and take care of the technicalities on that. But wanted to let you know that's close to resolving. So,
Great.
and I think unless you have anything for me, those were my main 3 items that I had.
Have anything?
No,
Commissioner?
good.
Okay, nope.
Liz,
Thank you
thanks.
for the update.
Not a problem.
Okay, we'll move on to,
Can I go?
do you, department head or?
Yeah, just general information. I had a couple requests, or I can wait.
Can you wait till department heads?
Wait.
I'll go through, I got old business and new business. Shouldn't take too long.
Thank you.
So old business, first item here, we have 2 pay apps from Envoy. The first one is for $2,266,390.01, and the second one is for $2,623,000.68.95.
Motion to approve the Envoy payouts for both 1 and 2.
Okay, motion carries 2-0 on those. Our next item is we have our Paul Philippi quarterly report. I guess, is there anything you want to add to it? Yeah, microphone, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Jackie Kaufman. I'm the the finance person at Paul Philippi. And what we've given you is just a voucher to get our 50% back, which is not even 50% because we had way more expensive than that, but we had to make it fit the formula. And also, after the last time I was here, I started sending, I just lost her name.
Kelly?
Kelly, yes, the expenses that are all broken down by categories and stuff too. So she has that prior to me coming to the meeting.
We lost Kelly in our grant manager.
Oh.
So that we don't have anyone in that position anymore. So we'll have to
Okay.
kind of figure out how we want to handle that going forward here.
Well, it didn't kick back to me, so I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
probably still active.
So, yeah, we're just wanting approval
Yep.
to get our funding.
Okay, all right.
Motion to approve the claim.
Okay, motion carries 2-0 for the Paul Philippi quarterly report. All right, next, a couple items under new business. We have Stephen from EMS could not be here, but he did send a couple notes. We have a few agreements, and I'll run through them. Let's see which one's first. Okay. So the first one is a new billing service agreement. We had been with Acumed in the past, and this is effectively still with Acumed, but they have merged with another company. And so the agreement is between us and that new company. Also, there was some negotiation that was done in terms of the percentage received, and so from his notes, it looks like it'll save roughly about $17,000 a year based on our revenue projections for the new rate that we will pay Acumed for billing services. So I will entertain a motion to.
Motion to approve and you sign the Acumed new agreement.
Okay. Motion carries 2-0 to approve that. The second item, there's two contracts, and they are for our paramedic program students to do clinicals at different facilities. So there was interest in utilizing a facility in Cass County as well as in Avon. And I believe it's related to probably where those students
Or from.
Yeah, so, and he was supportive of these, so.
Motion to approve the paramedic training program with the two ongoing hospitals.
Okay. All right, motion carries 2-0 for the paramedic students to utilize other facilities to do clinicals. Next item, we have our 2025 holiday schedule to approve. Departments have been asking, trying to get it out here early, so again, I think there's 14 federal holidays that we will follow here, as we have been doing across the board since at least I've been here. So entertain a motion to approve the holiday schedule.
Motion to approve the holiday schedule for the year of 2025.
All right, motion carries 2-0 on that. The last item I'll mention, it wasn't on here, but quickly, we've had obviously some conversations over the last couple years with the mental health service in Clinton County with Howard Community, and it's been ongoing, and now there is interest from a new provider, Jane Pauley Community Health Center, and so they've just asked for us to provide a letter of support for them to be the new provider here in Clinton County. And so I think based on the conversations we had with the council as well as your leadership in these conversations, it seems like this is a win for us to potentially partner with a new agency for these services. So
Yeah.
just wanted to put it out there and maybe get a motion that we both support this going forward.
Well, as you know, we've suffered a little bit in our community for the last year, and they're working diligently to improve that situation. So I'll make the motion that we move forward with the Howard Community / Jane Pauley organization.
Okay.
Solution for you to sign it.
All right, we'll send a letter of support for that partnership as Jane Pauley kind of taking over the future mental health here in Clinton County. All right, department heads. Ready, Sheriff?
I'm sorry, I apologize. If I would forget to do this. The hiring process at the sheriff's office for the merit deputies, we were able to hire 2 merit deputies when we still have 1 opening that's available, and basically just asking or giving notice that, and basically asking for permission to move forward with starting a new process in September. We have at least 1 scheduled retirement coming up in the new year. So we'll love to have a pool of applicants so we don't have to do this again in '25, and we'll be able to have a pool of people to pull from. So that's basically what I'm asking, and then I'll have our administrative staff reach out to everybody and give the notices. But there's no changes in job description or anything else. It's all the same.
Okay. Support that.
Motion to let go or
Motion to
approve it.
approve the create a pool for process to hire the
going
1
forward.
and then carry over into what,
25.
25.
Yeah.
first quarter of 25 good, or you need it
It'll be
summer of 25?
It'll be second quarter of '25,
Okay.
because
All right.
there's a drop date or an end date of probably in April, after the employee burns all their vacation and whatever time that they have. So it looks like April.
Second quarter of
I'd be
25.
okay with that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And as far as the mechanical and electrical there at the sheriff's office, we'll keep having those conversations. I should have, like I say, for the plumbing, a second quote at minimum. It starts on Thursday, so hopefully by the middle of next week, we'll have that to you. And as far as the electrical portion of it, and as HVAC and all of that, we'll have to have some conversation and move forward with that to get that system finalized, updated, and the program started.
Yep. Anything else?
No, sir.
Thanks, sir.
I had one thing. I just
Yes.
want to make sure you and we had discussed a little bit about vehicles. I'd sent you a plan. So have
Yes.
you had a chance to review that? I mean,
I talked to Chief Deputy Mayfield, and I haven't finalized that plan, so, I mean, and I'm okay with it. And I looked at it initially, and I think that'll be fine. I think
Okay. All right.
it'll work
We'll
fine.
just look at it, let us know, and then we can we'll make an announcement so we have an idea of what we're doing, because it would increase from the 4 that we told you.
Absolutely.
And, if we're able to do that plan, it'll bump up to 7.
Yeah.
So
I think
we'll make sure we get
it'll
it on
work
record.
perfect. I think
Okay.
it'll be okay.
Okay, all right, very good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, Renee, doesn't matter. Brett, you can go.
Just a quick update on our building roof situation. We did receive that quote, and it was high. Spoke with the landlord on Monday about it. He was not happy. Basically pinned him down and said, do you want us here or not? And he did not have an answer. So, don't know what we're going to do about that. I did have the state come in and check for mold. Luckily, there was none. The potential to have mold was very high with the situation we have. We did have a high level of CO2, so we're just going to open the door occasionally and vent that out. So, I did meet with the mayor a couple weeks ago about a building in town. She was intrigued with my proposal. She wanted to talk to some of her advisors. She will be at my meeting tomorrow with an update if that's even a possibility. So we'll go from there.
So 2 things, because you and I have been talking about this a little bit, and I saw the quote for what they said needed fixed. So does he want to go get a second quote for his building, or since he thought that was high, or is it just leave
He
it
was
as
just
is?
unhappy, so I hope that he reaches out to somebody else because I don't know what he's going to do.
Okay. All right. And then we'll work through. I've talked to the mayor as well about our idea. I don't want to say too much too early, but I think it's a real possibility. So
Good.
we'll hopefully maybe get some traction there and be able to work with them on that. And it'll take a little bit of time,
Sure, absolutely.
but we just got to make sure that you guys are in a safe space until then.
Yeah, it's getting worse, so.
All right. Well, I guess if you need us to get involved or have another conversation, let us know.
Will do. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, Renee, now you're up.
So an update on our console project, that has been nonstop for the last 2 weeks. It's like we're finally sort of, whatever normal is, back to normal this week. It's been a lot for the 2 weeks. Tim, it was a group effort, but I'm telling you, Tim with IT, I mean, when you're ripping out positions, everything, computers and all, and wiring and everything, it's a lot. It was crazy, but our electricians, Congleton, they were great. It was a lot for 2 weeks. It was kind of stressful, but we've gotten there. Poor Tammy, she keeps texting me because I've taken pictures throughout.
Yeah.
But we had Leo come down and paint early to get that done, but we didn't have him do the trim because we thought the trim would. I've called him because now that everything is in, we want that painted. So I'm like, you're gonna have to wait because I don't want pictures out until like we're completely finished. And then just kind of heads up, Chris and I had talked, and I think once we are done, I'm going to send out an email invite to obviously Commissioners Council, the town boards, because they all pay into,
Yep.
Central Dispatch,
Yep.
and would like an opportunity for them to come in and see. So we will do that maybe some evening or a Saturday morning for a couple hours, just so if people, those stakeholders
Yeah.
would like to stop in, because they've changed over the years and stuff. So we're excited about it. It looks good. But it was a lot of work for everybody.
Sure.
And so
Well, it'll be worth it in the.
it will be. And this will take us, many years into the future. So, I mean, our last ones lasted us, 14 years. That's a long
Yeah.
time. So one side note, and Tim and I, we still have some discussion. So if you've been down in dispatch, we have the monitors for like the cameras here at the courthouse and police and Old Stony. After 14 years of 24/7, 2 weeks ago, during the middle of this process, one of the monitors for the courthouse finally died after 14 years. So we switched the courthouse cameras to a different monitor, one that wasn't as imperative. So, but we're gonna kind of have to figure that out because I'm guessing 14 years of 24/7, the other monitors are gonna start to go as well. So we'll kind of have to do some talking and figure some of that out. But we did Tim switched for us the courthouse cameras
Okay.
to the other one. So just something we'll have to figure out here probably soon, see what we want to do with that. So other than that, we went and participated at National Night Out last night, so it was hot.
Yeah.
But it was good, so I was glad to get us back out there and out in the public again, so. But
Okay.
other than that, I don't have anything unless you have something for me.
No, nice job.
All right.
So what, 99.5% done? Is that what you would say? or
Yes,
something like
yes,
that? Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we also had to get kind of creative, so we did not replace the floor. So we have the raised flooring, and they're tiles that you have to pick up with a suction cup, and we have holes in some for cables.
Yeah.
So Tim and Chris had to get kind of creative, moving things and hiding them under filing cabinets and some are just worn where they had been. So, but it is what it is. It's fine. This was a big project. So, but it's great. We're happy with it.
Oh, I'm
So.
excited to see the finished
Yes,
product.
yeah,
so.
yeah. So, all
Are you
right.
sure that's the color of paint you want on the walls? We thought about maybe having a different color.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Rodney?
Just wanted to circle back with you. I didn't know if Tom and I had hammered out that contract the way you wanted it or not, so I can,
I think we're working on, Tom and I need to work on a couple things with it, and I apologize. We'll get
Okay.
get it done,
Okay.
so. All right. Anyone else? Tim? Popular man today.
Just looking for approval to go ahead and get my computer replacements ordered for this year. The office licensing is going to be about $9,800. The towers will be around $27,000. So I know it's over the $5,000 limit, so just wanted to get your guys' approval before moving ahead.
Yep, all in our 24 budget, correct?
Yeah, it's all been
Yep.
budgeted,
Yep.
so it's just,
Motion to approve the purchase of both.
Yep.
okay, thanks.
2-0. Thanks, Tim. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I'll move on to commissioner reports.
Just a couple things that's already been really discussed, but the roundabout is 99% done. It really looks pretty good. It's been in operation since the 25th, I understand. We do need to get together and determine what dates we want to give them as the exceeded date program is what we're going to call as an end. They suggested the 25th, saying that's when it was all fully operational, or I believe the 28th then, which was the Monday that really they said it was up and going.
Okay.
And then, but at that point in time, outside of different signs being pulled and so forth, so it's just minor stuff that needs to be repaired. There is a closeout date or a pre-closeout date of the upcoming Wednesday of next week that we'll hit and see. But it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Seems to be working very well, to be honest.
Yeah, I went through it earlier this week, and I mean, there was full of truck traffic, and they could handle all the turns
Yeah,
real well.
Actually, several people commented that extra space that we put in there is really well worth doing so.
Yep.
So that was a good thing to have. Two, we've already talked about the solar farm, but I do have a meeting with them coming in. They're trying to set together next Monday a date and time that they could do a drive-by of all locations and listen to us. So at least they're willing to discuss things
Yeah.
at this point.
Yep.
And outside of that, that's really pretty much the only two updates I have, sir.
Okay. I have one quick one, and I want to thank Carol Price, counselor who's here, although she probably did this in one of her other capacities. Organized last evening, we were privileged to have Senator Braun and hopefully future Governor Braun here in Clinton County and Frankfort visiting the Trinity Hope Center and learning about some of the health initiatives that are going on and all the organizations and Rodney and the public health work that's being done. And I think everyone usually says this in meetings when individuals like that come around, that they left impressed, but there was no doubt that he left very impressed with all the work that's being done here, from our opioid settlements money and how it's being distributed to mental health for our organizations that are local in doing those, to helping kids in those transitions at school and making sure people have food, to vegetable gardens that are happening. So there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't get to talk about all the time. And so even for me, it was very good to hear some of the kind of nuts and bolts and the details of what our people are doing. But one thing I want to say, I thought it was really interesting. He, as he was there on behalf of his campaign as running for governor, he's looking at how we get Indiana from being 46th or 47th in the nation in health and move up that ladder. And this was kind of why he was picking our brain to try and create a blueprint and template that he can apply when he hopefully wins the race. And I basically told him, we can provide the blueprint, but it's the people that make the difference, right? Like, it's no different than sports. Like, the coach can give you the play, but it doesn't mean the other team can run the same play the same way because they don't have the same personnel. And to me, that's the difference here in Clinton County and Frankfort, is we have the right people. We can share it with any other county, but it doesn't mean it can be replicated. And so that to me is a testament to the people, and I'm proud that we have those individuals. Take no credit because it's not me. It's all of you, and so thank you for that. But I was thankful for Carol inviting us and allowing us to have a place at the table to have the conversation. So thank you.
Well done.
Have no other reports at the moment, so we'll move on to our claims. We have claims dated July 19th in the amount of $5,487.84. Claims dated July 26th in the amount of $133,393.43. August 2nd in the amount of $27,870.23. A biweekly from August 2nd in the amount of $1,057,810.60. And lastly, a court claim dated August 2nd in the amount of $21,237.60.
Motion to approve claims.
All right, motion carries 2-0 on the claims. Next, we have payroll from July 12th in the amount of $541,941.02, and a payroll from July 26 in the amount of $543,954.96.
Motion to approve.
All right, motion carries 2-0 on payroll. And next, we have minutes from our meeting on July 2nd as well as July 16th.
Motion to approve minutes on July the 2nd, and then followed up with motion to approve July 16th.
All right, motion carries 2-0 on the minutes. Our next meeting will be August 20th. Any other business to come before us this morning? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, thank you.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, she moved on, so
This is the
we'll
one.
have